Was it Hulkenberg's fault? Or is that just a turn one incident that happened?
It kind of looked like he wasn't getting the retardation that he expected under braking.
Oh, don't worry. There was plenty of retardation to go around this weekend. Welcome to Fiends, where the F1 never ends, just like the stupidity we witnessed in Qatar. The number of rookie-level errors in the Qatar Grand Prix this weekend was somewhere between surprising and concerning. So let's start with what was surprising and work our way to the concerning ones. Sergio started the surprises on Saturday, and no, I'm not talking about him going out in Q1. That was hardly surprising.
Stop.
I mean when he simply didn't start the sprint race and got passed by actual rookie Franco Colapinto whilst still in the pit lane. A baffled Christian Horner told the press, when the lights go out, you're supposed to go. But what he should have told the press was why Checo still has a job. And then of course, we have George Russell starting the Grand Prix on pole, which he had to sacrifice his personal relationship with Max Verstappen to secure. But George bungled the start so bad, he lost 2 positions by the first corner, and then watched Verstappen fade into the distance, along with Max's respect for him. Veteran driver and literal male model Nico Hulkenberg had a diarrheal turn 1, losing control of his rear end and shitting all over Colapinto and Ocon's hopes. This brings Williams up to 16 crashes this year, and at this point you have to wonder if Logan Sargent really was that bad, or if it's the car. That is an unreal amount of crashes, and as they say, if everywhere you go smells like shit, check your own shoe. Speaking of Williams, the next rookie mistake I give to Alex Albon for the incident with Stroll. And you might think it was Lance's fault for lacking the skill to control a Formula 1 car after 7 years in the sport, but I lay the blame at Albon's feet because he knew that Lance was going to lose control and still chose to stay that close to him. Frankly, at this point, the only drivers who have any excuse for placing their car anywhere near Lance Stroll on a race start are the young guns who have never raced with him before. Now into the concerning stuff. Let's start with Lewis. Before the Grand Prix even started, Lewis was doubting himself, saying publicly that he isn't fast anymore. And for a guy who literally sold a course on teaching a champion's mindset, you'd think he'd understand the importance of psychology in performance. But then he jumped the start and forgot to put on the pit limiter. Really simple stuff. The sort of basic mistakes you'd expect from a recently divorced dad. And now that I think about it, isn't that kind of what's happening with him leaving his Mercedes family? And then of course there's the stewards, giving Lando a disproportionate penalty. It's bad enough even without the broader context of McLaren fighting for the constructors, and it brings Leclerc within 8 points of Norris for second place. Maybe Mohammed Ben Sulayem needs to reconsider his strategy of firing people on a whim, especially when there isn't a large talent pool of people with the extremely specific skills required to do those jobs. That brings us to our rookie race director, who clearly had too many responsibilities this weekend. The delayed safety car during the wing mirror incident was mind-boggling, especially when you consider that brand new race director Rui Marquez also had to run the F2 and F1 Academy races. It makes you wonder if Mohammed's been slamming margaritas again. After sacking lead steward Tim Mayer and race director Niels Vidic 3 races before the end of the season, in the midst of a close title fight, I have to wonder if Sulayem's back on the sauce. Because let's be honest, if he isn't drunk on alcohol, he's at least drunk on power. And finally, here to cap off the show, it's the Canadian positivity guy with the spicy joke of the week.
Well, you've heard the British guys enough, so why don't you listen to somebody else for a change?
I wasn't expecting to be reminded of Don Cherry today, but after Tsunoda forced Magnussen wide and Kevin kept his foot into it through the gravel, the F1 TV commentator called it,
Oh, fruity stuff from K-Mag.
and frankly, for those of you who didn't grow up watching Hockey Night in Canada, I don't expect you to remember when Don Cherry called players who wear visors European fruits. Now, I don't know if fruity means something different over in Europe, but if it means what I think it means, it kind of makes sense. Kevin didn't just bend over and take it from Yuki. He turned around and gave it right back to him. He saw a tight opening and shoved himself right in it. You know what? That's probably enough euphemisms. And if you enjoyed this, you'll probably enjoy last week's video where I talk about why I, like David Cameron, enjoy the dead pig.